You're listening to Feferity Radio. It's time to set the record straight.
Your style, my style, freestyle.
Your style, my style, freestyle.
Welcome back. I'm your mind, or I am your mind. Roy Ez.
Never knowing your own true reality, because my thoughts remain like distant quasars. You abuse me, never letting me say and do as I feel. Our thoughts split from love affairs to choice of friends. We argue like two enemies, yet we are good friends. Now there are moments when we harmonize with each other and become one with nature and reality. But these times are few, when after you have replenished yourself, the fear of the truth sets in. We split and you start to run again. Running through women, men, jobs, people, and life, looking for the answer when I had it all along. But I smile, because I am your mind. I was your mind yesterday, I am your mind today, and I'll be your mind tomorrow. And as our end draws near, we will become closer. But you and I, we will never be one. For I will part from you, and you will part from me. You finding another mind, and I another soul. And we'll travel on and on. By the way, I need more than sex to nourish my equilibrium, but I do need sex. I also need sun, trees, stars, creativity, and love, but you saturate my soul with too much of one and not enough of the other. Therefore I cry. But why do we cry? Because tears cleanse the windows of our minds. I am your mind. All your thoughts inside your mind, wanting to be free. Well, now you've got the chance to let your mind grow and be free. Because the music is just trying to say things to free your mind. And if you let your mind be free, then you can understand mine. There's no need to be afraid of me. I want to be your friend. I'm just trying to give you music from deep within. All of your dreams can become reality. My dial reaches full, but you've only been turning me halfway. Turn me up, and alpha and theta waves will spew from your pores. Knowledge, peace, happiness and prosperity will be placed at your feet. Let's create, solve, love, accomplish, and unify. Assalamu alaikum.
Longest waiting, isn't it? But it's all good, because we are waiting is not in vain. Let me turn this down a little bit so that we can introduce my special guest here on Feferity Radio. This is a Thursday edition, and our brother Kevin Hayes is on the line, an amazing musician, also working with the ecosystem. And he's here to tell us about his very latest collaboration. And so let's welcome him here on Feferity Radio. Welcome, my brother. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome. Greetings.
It's been a while, man. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm keeping well. I'm just carrying on with where I left off the last time we spoke. I'm just in the process of probably let's start with music. I'm working with Jazz Refresh. They're a black jazz organization that are running their own jazz events every week. I'm in West London, and we've teamed up, and I'm putting out digital music of my current music, which is ajo-se-po.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Ajo-se-po, in the basic form, is unity.
Mm-hmm.
But the different departments at Ajo is to do with corporation. Ajo in Yoruba, this is in Yoruba, is also a journey. So when we play ajo-se, like I said, ajo-se is to go on a journey. Po, ajo-se-po is to cooperate with other groups of people.
Uh-huh.
So that's what it kind of means.
Okay.
Ajo-se-po is a unity.
Uh-huh.
The word in itself, when you bring it together, means unity. But the different departments are different movements for that unity to arise.
Right. So it depends on what you're doing. Like you're focusing on, you're a musician, so collaborating with other musicians is like ajo-se-po, yeah?
It could be musicians. It doesn't necessarily be musicians.
Yeah.
It's open to anybody that is I'm collaborating with in any context.
Okay.
Within the context that I'm speaking within ajo-se-po, so it's about my journey, I suspect, and then whatever that is. So if I'm discovering my spiritual self, there's the journey there. Also, it's about a place as well. And the place is a place that they haven't been to before.
Okay.
It's maybe when I say haven't been before, it's a new experience.
So tell us about the ajo-se-po album cover, because it's very surreal. I mean, you're a exceptional man in so many ways, but tell us I mean, the description is very red. I mean, a bold sort of blood red. I mean, you've got your percussions there, about 4 I can see, and your trumpet. I mean, tell us about why you chose that setting.
I suppose it's the unification of what I've been doing in my life, and anybody that knows me, there's lots of elements in the picture there. Some will understand and some may not understand. And this is part of our journeys as Africans. There's a lot of things that we don't know about ourselves anymore that get lost in translation or get lost in habit.
Right.
So the habits are traditional drumming in a spiritual context that are there in front of you. That's something that I do outside of performing music. It's a spiritual activity that is not longer really being expressed anymore because people don't know how to do it. They're not meeting the people that are there to show them, and there are so few of them as well that it's not so easy to meet them. So this is the scenario that we're in many contexts of the things that we do as Africans. We are surrounded within a Eurocentric concept of thought, which means that there's not much space for the ancient things to exist. So the picture is a reference of unity in my own personal self and unity for our brothers and sisters to kind of identify what's them and who they are. So the picture represents of who I am. Okay.
You know, when you made mention of the fact that people don't know about the spiritual aspect of ourselves, is it something, I mean, or we're, what you're saying, like, we don't really look for those things anymore? Is it the fact that as African people, we're shy because of the surrounding that we're in?
No. Like I said, the consciousness of ourself in the Eurocentric reality is the same as our consciousness in a knowing, conscious state with ancient activities. That's a different kind of expression. So we've been removed from that place, and we are now expressing a different expression that no longer has use for this old expression. When I say no longer has use, because you have to know what you're doing with it first and understand how it started and why you continue to do it. So there's been a breakage in that place. As a general for us that are in the diasporan or are in the Eurocentric fraternities, let's say, and where we are operating mostly in a Eurocentric kind of expression, mundanely. And so that's that.
It is a very, very powerful picture, actually. Like you just described, there's a lot going on there. I mean, also you are, Kelvin Haynes Grupo Elegua. You're doing a project in Africa, Benin, ecosystem that is to do with ecosystem. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm a consultant in something called permaculture and design. And so I'm a permaculture designer. And permaculture in design, in a small nutshell, is fixing and repairing the ecosystem. So that's the first step. Second step is to create a sustainable living reality where all the different types of resources that you can attain are put into a particular order of design, so you are sustainable for the time or the time you plan to be. So if it's for 100 years, that's what you're doing. So there's 3 or 4 different departments of what we call permaculture and design. So you've got the design, so like a house, like anything that you can design, you design it. So I'm designing this eco village, and every department is being worked out what's going to happen there, how it's going to work, how it will be sustainable, and so on. So an example, if we are going to do fresh water, we know where the water's coming from all year round. We know how we're going to filter that water. We know how it's going to go into the houses. We know the whole cycle of the whole year, how that water's going to work. And we know how much water we'll have and how much we can give to people for free or to keep for ourselves or to sell. So we'll be in the driving seat of all our energy, and it'll be worked out from design. So permaculture and design is about designing the ecosystem as well as repairing, because that's a different issue now. So because of the different destruction that's been going on in nature, there's ways obviously to fix some of them things. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to fix it all in one go, because some things take hundreds of years to fix, they can't be fixed. But what you can do is reconstruct a new ecosystem which will do what it needs to do in another 100 years. So that's the way you've got to be thinking. So that's permaculture and design. That's what I do, and I consult people if they want to have, if they have the understanding of this concept, then they will now ask me to design an eco village based on this concept of design.
Okay.
So it's not just me building an eco village. An eco village is based on a sustainable reality. So I'm building a village with people that we're going to teach them ethically how to be sustainable. So then that we can come back in 20 years' time and they'll be still there sustainable. There'll be no wars, there'll be no friction, and there'll just be ethical reasoning, and they'll be able to guide the next group around them to mirror what they're doing. So that's the kind of idea what I'm going with. And inside of that now, I'm building a village, and I'm building a school, which will be a permaculture design school. So the people in the village have access to the school, so there's no way that they could never know how to do all of this. We changed the ethical reasonings of being in the site, so we changed the mode of how we treat each other, and then we begin. And we teach them, and once they are certified, then we can see they know how to build a house with thermal house, maybe using the traditional styles, go back into traditional styles, using materials that we can get easy, they're affordable and they're durable. We don't have to go into the Eurocentric business market anymore. We just need to know what the materials are, and we need to know where to get them. So when you know how to do all of that, and then you work out, then now you start building a house. We're building residence for the people that's going to live in the building. So what it is, the people that are coming to my course, their experiment will be to build an eco house for, 3-bedroom eco house. We'll have a few of them. Then we'll go on to another subject within the permaculture reality. How do you create a swale so that you can have running water coming in the land and out the land?
Okay. Is this
things like that?
Yeah. Is this only? Sorry, go on.
So anyway, just in the basic nutshell, on the GoFundMe, if you want to kind of get involved in the education department, you're going to send me an email, and I'm going to send you a link to get involved in the education part. I've got a online course that is a written online course to get you started in the knowledge of what permaculture or what a sustainable system's all about. Because I just talked about different aspects. We also have a food forest aspect, so that's growing food and so on. So and then there's solar energy aspect, there's wind energy aspect, there's particular crops that we should be growing. So this is all inside the package of permaculture. So what I'm doing is I'm going to have an online course for people to do the course basically on knowing the information.
How long is the course for?
It will be based on maybe a month of you getting this information, and then it's a basic certified, And the second part of the course is you come to the village, and we now test you on the things that you've just written down to say that you understand. So if it is building a house, and you said that you saw parts of the course that it showed you, and you said you knew what that means, then we kind of go through with you now doing that. And so that's part of the course when you get to the village. The other bit is on the online course. First is the knowledge base. You need to know what swale is, and if you don't know what swale is, then I'm just talking in the air to you. So that's part of the course.
And this village, is it just based in Africa, or is something you can apply here, or you are applying it already here in the UK?
You can apply it anywhere in the world.
Are you doing something here in the UK just focus on West Africa?
No, I'm just focusing on having a demonstration site in Africa for Africans, so that they can, or anybody really, but I'm doing it in Africa for the African people, because these are the ones who are not sustainable more than anywhere else in the world. So obviously it would make sense to go to Africa to reconstruct the idea of sustainability. It's already happening and people are already doing it, yes, but I think this is something that can blossom into something really big, and where it's a norm.
Yeah. So the people qualify, taking the course, for example, and then qualify for the 6 weeks. Are they in the position of, would they be able, have to be in a position to go to Africa in the village to learn about as well and all of that?
Yes, if they're in a position financially and they've got the time, they'll come down for 2-3 weeks to assess the site, to then do the other part of the course, which is to now practice and go through it, So if it's about growing food, you'll know how to grow different crops in that space. You'll know how to design and draw, how to do all of that. That's the drawing part. So there's drawing stuff and storing information for yourself, so you know what you're doing. So there's quite a lot of different things to learn.
Yeah.
So
can someone Can someone do the course, knowing that they don't want to go to Africa, but they would just want to learn about what you're offering?
They can learn the practical. They can learn the. They can experiment with little things. Yes. So if they're going to do the basic permaculture, they will be able to have some ideas of things. But it might not be able to give them, because it won't be everything. I'm just giving you the basics. If they do the introduction will give them a mini chunk of different aspects of things they could do, and they probably could experiment, because some of the courses asking them to go and find that information anyway. So they're going to naturally do that, and they'll be able to experiment. If they have their own little garden, they can go and experiment with certain things. They can start like that. But designing a mini eco thing is completely different to just growing some food and then experimenting that way, because you didn't do that before. But we're talking about a whole system, a whole ecosystem. So no, you can only do very small elements, micro elements of it in your home base or what have you. To do the whole thing, we're talking about a whole mini village, maybe 10 people or so, sustaining that and having all of the different things working all together. So no, you can't have all of that and go away with that. You need to come somewhere that's actually happening, so you can absorb more stuff and take more notes and do other things that you couldn't really do in another context, like what we just spoke about in the small micro version. You couldn't do all of them things. So then you actually have to come eventually to plan to learn more.
That is a very, very good initiative, and because I think the benefit, especially for an African who wants to go back home and want to learn more about this ecosystem and how it works, and maybe wants to grow and develop their own environment, I think will benefit them especially, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Obviously, we're in a conscious space. We're moving in a higher conscious movement at this present time, whether people are aware of it or not, despite everything that's happening. And so this is just part and parcel of that. I did this 9 years ago now. And so it's just taken me this time to even get to where I can let people know. Because I've had to filter the information, I've had to see other people's versions and witness and observe and take down and acknowledge as much as I could, and then find a way that we as Africans can do these things as well. So that's what's been missing at the moment. We don't have many of these types of programs at present. I do believe it's growing, because consciousness is growing, and people, I'm not the only one that's doing this here. There's other people doing it or beginning to do it here. The awareness of permaculture is there, even though people are not sure what it really is, but it's in the mindset. The fact that growing food and doing other sustainable things is kind of growing in knowledge naturally. So yeah, we're moving in that place at the present time. So what we're saying now is we want a whole system that we can, do exactly what is possible. And now we know. So yeah, just sharing that, and hoping people here can take that and use that science and move forward in a positive way.
I mean, doing that and combining the music as well, it is not easy, but for you it just comes naturally, isn't it? Where the music works with what you're doing and your spirituality and the way you see the world.
Well, with any music, I think for any musician or any artist, to be whatever you're doing, you would want to express what's happening around you, or what you're doing as well, and what you're involved in, and what your thoughts for positive change might be, if that's what you're trying to do. So they're just the natural causes of what I'm doing, and it's going to come through the music.
And like you mentioned, this is a time that we've never really, maybe some have been talking about it, read about it, but it's to be happening in such a scale, it is something that all of us are experiencing at the same time. I mean, what's your thought?
Yeah, like I said, I come back to it. We're just in the wave of higher consciousness, and obviously different factions are dealing with it in different ways. So the corona is what can I call it? Smoke screen.
Okay.
Corona is the smoke screen to what's really happening. Why I'm saying that is because there's a lot of people that have an idea what they think it is, and there's people that definitely know what it is.
Yeah.
And so when you draw the line between them two things, you may see a smaller side of people knowing what it is, and a bigger side of they think they know, because obviously they've got lots of different people telling them different things. And if you're listening to the government and these types of people, and you believe that narrative, then maybe you're not going to be able to get all of the truth of it, what it is, and what's really behind everything. So, I mean, that's one perspective of seeing it. So we can talk about other things, but I've used the corona as a directive of what is going on, and what a lot of the time is, if you're not a scientist, a skilled scientist, if you're not a skilled biologist, if you don't know anything much about nature, if you don't know nothing about your immune system, these are the things that are pushed in people's faces. And so basically we now have to all of a sudden know how to be all these things. Mm-hmm. So no, it's not possible for you to know what's happening then. You're going to know fragments of things, and if you've got any knowledge in them places, you'll be able to decipher them what's the truth.
Could you pull the curtain just a little bit for us? I mean, could you pull the curtain out for us a little bit and tell us what you think might be happening? Give us a little bit of knowledge.
What do I think is happening is what is happening. It's not what I think it is. Well, so I said before, the corona is like a smoke screen. There is definitely something out there to get. but maybe not the way that it's been told. So that's one thing. Two, we've been emotionally engineered to express something so others can do something later.
That is deep.
I know.
That is deep. Goodness me, it's like you've lost us at the moment.
Well, you've got a recording of it, so you know the people that are listening, they can go back and listen to it again, because sometimes we need to kind of double take and listen to what's being said, so that we got clarity of what's happening.
So emotions plays a lot of factor here at this moment, isn't it?
Emotions is justified, but the thing is, like I said before, there's other things happen. There's other factors that are included that are not being seen or understood.
Yeah.
And so, or are not thought about. And so, depending on what these factors are, I'm not going to go into them, but I think it's for people to go and investigate their deeper selves, understanding their deeper selves and their experiences of what's happened to them over time in our histories, and who's doing what to them, will give you enough information to know what's happening today. There's no accident, and there's no way that you can't know. And if you don't know, that means that you're ignorant to many things still, and so that you need to go and research it more and download the information properly, because you might have read something, but you didn't really understand it fully. Or there might be an organization that you've been told about, you didn't research them properly. And if you did, then you'll understand why what's happening today is happening.
Certain actions been taken.
Yeah. So if you did all of them things, then you wouldn't be surprised what's happening in a way.
And also you talk about surprise, but you wouldn't be fearful of what is happening today, right?
Well, you may do if you don't know what's happening. But if you know what's happening and you understand what the solutions could be, no, you won't be frightened. You'll be empowered.
Wow. Okay, we'll leave it like that. I mean, everyone can find a way out of this, their solution, because again, that is it, you know? What is the solution? It's like everybody's got a different interpretation of it. But again, I mean, Mr. Hayes, we've all seen what's going on. I mean, if I was to ask you, about George Floyd, you know, we've seen the coming together of every kind of people talking about one kind of people's lives matter. But if one was to ask you, say 7 weeks ago, do you know George Floyd? What would be your answer?
Well, like most people, I wouldn't say I didn't know who he was. I don't know if he was just another American or English.
And how powerful his name has become, and what happened to him? What happened to him? And then we have great people. I was just saying Michael Jackson, for example. You know, the work he has done has been undermined, and some other things have come on top. But there's no way you can go in the world where people don't know about Michael Jackson.
Listen, like I said before in the earlier parts of the conversation, this is an emotional orchestration. And so when this is something that is being kind of pre-planned, it's a different story. And plus, we are in this moment in time.
Yeah.
What happened and what was going on then. What's going on now is now. There's an agenda of some kind, of some change happening. And this is what's happening. So there's got to be an emotional shift as well somewhere. Whether it's lower or higher, there's got to be one somewhere. It's a lower one. It's not a high one. So this is what's happening.
Well, we got to get low before we go high, isn't it? That's what they say.
Well, I don't know. You need to look at the perspective of that, though.
Yeah. It's very great. So tell us about this album, which is going to be released tomorrow on the 5th on Spotify.
So I have ajo-se-po, which we explain is unity. That's going to be released tomorrow from Jazz Refresh, the jazz promoters who run their own events, which I mentioned. So it's going to be, if you go to Instagram, so if you check me on Kevin Grupo Elegua, or Grupo Kevin in Instagram, there's a link to Spotify, iTunes, and a link of the Jazz Refresh label as well. And you can buy the ajo-se-po album there. If you like to support me in the Eco Village in Benin, you can go to GoFundMe, and you can find that on Facebook. You can go to Facebook and look for me, Kevin Haynes Grupo Elegua, and then when you go there, you'll see a GoFundMe page on one of the pages that you'll see it.
Okay. And
so that's how to get to the record, and that's how to get to the GoFundMe. And if you are interested in the village itself, or actually learning permaculture and design, or you want to know basics of it, or do a basic study of it with me, then you can contact me on Awoifaleke. So that's Awoifaleke. That's Awoifaleke @gmail.com.
okay.
That's Awoifaleke @gmail.com. And so if you're, just leave me a message there and say that you're interested in the permaculture, basic permaculture course, and basic or introduction into permaculture. So these courses are online only. There's no practical things. The practical things, you'll be invited if you've finished and completed the course. We'll give you a basic certificate to say, yes, you understand the principles and the concepts of permaculture in design. So you're working towards designing an ecosystem, and everything that's inside it, and you'll know all of the nuts and bolts of how it all works. So this is just for you to know the written description of how it goes. And so there's a lot of information. I'm only doing what I call the introduction is like a half.
Okay.
Then there's the other part will come when you come to the village. So that's the full permaculture course. That means now you can certify other people as well.
Yeah. Do you have a fee? I mean, do you want to give a?
Yeah, there's a fee there. I would suggest that they go to the website.
Okay.
So if you contact me, then I'll give you a link to the website, and then you'll see everything on the website, the fee, the course, and all that kind of stuff. So then, rather than me saying all of these things down there, so that everybody's got the information.
Okay. Okay. But you don't want to give out the website now?
It's Global Self-Reliance. Actually, you know what? The best thing to do, because it's if they contact me on my email, and I'll send them a link. It's the best thing, because it's long. It's a bit long. It's a bit long-winded. I don't want people to write the wrong thing and they can't get through to me, and especially when there's conversation like this.
Cool.
So contact me by email, and if you're interested, I'll send you a link to the website. So you can see the course, you can see how much it is, you can see also the whole idea about permaculture. Them things are on my website there, and that's just the website for the village and the permaculture. And my I've got a non-profit organisation. So really, I'm taking you to my non-profit organisation, which is Global Self-Reliance in Eco Living. And so what we do is we sponsor people in Africa now we help them to provide themselves with a sustainable reality, village or a site. This is what the organisation does. So basically you're helping the organisation, its aims and objectives is to support people in Africa with the knowledge of sustainability.
Okay, fantastic.
So if you want to get involved in that, then you contact me in the email. I'll send you a link to the website. I know you're serious, and then you can get involved in these types of programs and you can learn something and so on.
Yeah, please give out the email one more time, please.
So it's Awo, AWOIFALEKE, Awoifaleke @gmail.com.
Fantastic. Well, Mr. Kevin, I want to say thank you very much.
You're welcome, brother. And yeah, you know, keep the love going out there, brother. Keep, you know, inspiring people. Keep playing them the music to want to listen, so they can connect to people like me and all the other good people that you're putting on your show. And give thanks for allowing me to share this information and my music.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Before you go, I mean, I'm going to play one from your Elegua album called Lying Waiting.
Cool.
Tell us about that.
It's what it says. It's waiting to create, waiting to resonate your potentials, waiting to do positive things, waiting to learn, and so on. It's that kind of energy that when I first read the tune, it was that I knew there was a lot of things that I'm going to be waiting for, but they will come. It's going to take time. So it's a little bit about knowing something that's going to happen in the future, and you're waiting because you know it's going to happen.
That's what they say. Good things come to those who
wait.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kevin Hayes.
Yes, I better.
More time.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Peace.
Bye.
favorite songs. This is Feferity Radio.
Your style, my style, freestyle.